Hey, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in the building. Nice to see y'all all. Glad to see you out there hanging out with me. Don't forget, y'all know what y'all got to do to purchase your ticket on this train. Hit the like button, okay? So hit the like button. Tonight's trending topics is called Forgive and Forget. Forgive and Forget. Somebody put in the chat there, hashtag forgive and forget. Oftentimes, this subject comes up, and I understand, but I don't understand. There are some people that told me, Diva, I don't speak to my own mother. I don't speak to my father. I don't speak to my sibling, my cousin, my this, my that, or the other. They don't speak to people in their bloodline. And I personally, but listen, I ain't the end all be all. We just talking here. I personally, I can't wrap my mind around that. And I always told the people, forgive. And just because you forgive somebody, that doesn't give them the same access back to you. That doesn't mean that you have to forget what they did to you. Just soften your heart, release your soul, forgive that person and move on. Go on with life, okay? But some people can't do that. So I brought this title up because Mariah Carey over the weekend, not only did her sister pass away, but her mother did too on the same day. The mother and sister, you know, if you think about these things, some people believe their souls probably connected. They just went together, but they passed on the same day. She had a strained relationship with her mother, strained relationship with her sister. When Mariah Carey wrote her book, I think she wrote her memoir, was it 2 years ago now? Well, when she wrote her memoir, in there she told a story about her sister and said when she was young, her sister offered her cocoa and tried to sell her to a pimp. That's what Mariah wrote in her book. And so she wrote something about her sister, Allison. She wrote something about her brother. I think the brother name is Morgan. I want to say Morgan. She wrote something about both of them. They both did not like it, and both of them sued Mariah Carey for defamation of character, distress, and all kinds of stuff for the items that she wrote in her memoir about them. Now, it's not known what happened between the case between her sister Mariah Carey. I don't know, but they said the brother's case against Mariah is still pending. So the sister was known to have HIV/AIDS. Then she got diagnosed, they said, in the 90s. And so the sister, the last few weeks of her life, or I think maybe a couple months, the sister was on hospice. So they knew that any day she would be leaving this earth. So a friend tried to come call Mariah, said, Mariah, could you just come see your sister before she takes her last breath and go? And Mariah did not go. I ain't judging Mariah. We having conversation because that's what we do over here in Trending Topics. It's a trending topic that leads us into a broader conversation. I mean, so when we talk about this story, do you think Mariah should have went to go see her sister to say the final goodbyes, even though throughout their life they had a strained relationship? We're going to talk about that. That's why the title is called Forgive and Forget. So then we got Keefe D. Okay? Keefe D, he in the jail, and this man, every chance and opportunity he gets, he is trying to get up out of that jail. So the latest thing, when he went to court, he told the judge that the people in there beating him up, putting their hands on him. He said, I told them I could be your father. He said he's dealing with cancer. He's on blood thinners. And he told the judge, when you're on a blood thinner, one punch, one bloody nose, and you could die. And he told the judge that the prosecutors, the police, and everybody's against him. And they're the ones that told these people to beat him up. He told the judge, he said, look at the footage. He said the jail should have some footage. The camera should have been running. He said, look at the footage. They beat me up. And he said, I just let them because I knew if I would have put my hands on them, it would have been a problem. So Keefe D, he up there too. Keefe D is in his 60s. He claimed that all the YouTube interviews that he did, he was just doing it for fame and money, but he is 10 toes down that he did not have anything to do with Tupac's unaliving. He was just running his mouth for the money and the fame. And he's begging to get out of jail. Do we have mercy on him? Do we forgive all the lies he claimed he told? Because he has cancer, he's sick, and he's older? Should the judge allow him to make bail and be out of jail until his trial comes up? We're going to talk about it. But every time he go in that courtroom, he got something to say. And the judge is being lenient on him because the judge, he keeps literally talking to the judge. Now, I don't live in nobody's courtroom. I don't know that much. I'm not no lawyer and I didn't study law. But from everything I know, you can't just roll up in the courtroom talking to the judge unless the judge spoke to you. Your lawyer is lawyer to judge, lawyer to judge. That's why when they say, unless you say, I'm going to defend myself. But if you're not defending yourself, you got to shut up unless the judge asks you a question. He constantly talking to the judge. And somebody got to help me out. I can't understand a word Keefe D is saying. He be like, the judge, and I'm like, what is he saying? I got to listen to about 3-4 times. 3-4 times. So we're going to talk about Keefe D. Then we got to talk about Erika Jayne, ex-husband, Tom Girardi, who at 85. Let me tell you something right now. I already told you. Come on now, light sugar, brown sugar sister. Yeah, Ebonics. What does this man be saying? Keefe D. So, Tom Girardi today, he was found guilty on 4 counts of wire fraud. At first, I thought they say he could face 20 years behind bars. But it's 20 years per count. Do the math. 20 times 4 is 80. At 80 years old, this man can be sentenced to 80 years in prison. I said, good googly mind. See, you know what? Here's the thing. Let's not be foolish here. Let me tell you some facts. The facts is we need money to live. The facts are money is not evil. It's the people sometimes that have the money is where the evilness comes in. Let's talk facts. It's okay to be rich. It's okay to be a millionaire. It's okay to have money. But what is not okay, if you got said money through fraudulent, malicious, nasty, dirty ways and stealing it from other people. Yeah, to that, for Keefe D, I do need closed captions. So I'll tell you right here and right now, I will work 17 jobs before I be out in the streets bopping somebody upside the head and stealing. I will live in a studio apartment and be happy in the comfort before I marry somebody just so I could be in a mansion. I will walk with my own 2 good feet, take a bus, ride a bike, the train, before I do all kind of scrupulous things just to be in a car or a luxury car or whatever the case may be. So you have Tom Girardi, who did all the work to become a lawyer. You got to go to undergrad. You got to go to law school. You got to study and pass the bar. And then once you do all that, you got to build up a reputation to become a covenant lawyer that everybody wants to utilize. You do all of that. So at the end of the day, the very clients that trusted you, came to you, utilized you in their time of need, you're going to steal their money. Steal their money and be stupid and dumb enough to go on a reality show flaunting your wealth. Not just living in a house, not just a mansion, but living in a mega mansion with housekeepers, drivers, exclusive golf club membership, funding your young wife music career. Your wife is rolling around in private jets with her whole glam squad. Did y'all watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? Come on, to that, all that education to become a thief. You better talk, girlfriend. That's a word right there. You did all that education to become a thief? I mean, you got to be dumb, stupid, or both. And a lot of people, it's not easy to pass the bar. So your wife is on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, flaunting her wealth, stuffing it into people's face. I don't know how she came out clean out this whole situation. Talk about she had no idea what her husband was doing. She had a glam squad. When Erika Jayne would go away on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, her and the glam squad, first class. She bring her makeup artist, her stylist, her hairstylist, so her clothing stylist, her hairstylist. She had an entourage. And then when she got to said place, they all had to have hotel rooms too. All of that money from the victims, these are people that was in car crashes, lost limbs, burnt, their whole body burnt up. They waiting for their check. In the meantime, Erika Jayne spending it, getting her face beat, wearing Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Chanel. She said on that show she was spending something like 20 to 30K a month on clothes. I think it was even higher. I'm really lowballing it. But you know what they say too? When somebody didn't make the money, they don't have no problem wasting the money. When it's not your money, you don't even care. You be like, what? It's $20,000 for them shoes. I'll take them. $30,000 for some sunglasses. Give them to me. The bag, the Birkin bags. What's those bags that they carry? Is it the Birkin bags? Thank you, Katrina. It was $40,000 a month. She ain't had no problem saying that. What's the bag that they all like out there? Is it the Birkin bags? And them Birkin bags cost so much money. Getting Birkin bag at the Birkin bag at the Birkin bag, flaunting the wealth. In the meantime, you got victims waiting. Thank you. That's the bag. You know, so in the meantime, you got the people waiting for their money. They said one of his victims, he settled, never told the victim he settled. He settled out of court for $53 million and told the victim that the settlement was $7.3 million. But he's 85. They said he's suffering from dementia. Should he go to jail? Are we going to forgive and forget? Are y'all saying, you know what? I don't give a darn. This man played the victims out. So he needs to do the time for the crime that he committed. But like I said, he's facing up to 80 years. They said the way they're going to make the decision on how much time he gets, it's also going to have victim impact statements. We're going to have to stay connected to this story. I think the victim impact statements are going to take us out. They about to lock that man up. How sad is that? You're 85 years old. You was once this top decorated lawyer. You was sought after. He was making millions without stealing the money. Who can be that greedy? If you're making $2-3 million a year, is that not enough? Are we going to lock him up? Are you going to forgive him because he's 85 and he got dementia? What we doing? We got to talk about it. So let me go ahead and bring the people on in the building. Y'all know what I need in the chat to bring the people on in the building. I need a what, y'all? I need a choo-choo. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Tuesday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is Forgive and Forget. Okay, are we going to find it in our heart with these particular stories to forgive and forget? Reminder, we got Mariah Carey on the docket because her estranged sister wanted to see her in her last moments, and Mariah did not go, but she was by the bedside of her mother. We got Keefe D begging the courts, let me out, let me out, let me out. And then we got Erika Jayne's ex-husband, Tom Girardi. Listen, I don't see how you can be married to someone for 21 years and you just 100% oblivious to what they are doing, but Erika says she was. So we'll move on. Let me go ahead and bring the people on in the building. Hey, Katrina.
Hello, Diva. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Choo, choo, choo.
Choo, choo, choo. Hey, Julius. All right. So let me go ahead. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and start with this Erika Jayne story because I do have a piece, a news clipping that I want us to listen to. So hold on. Let me share screen.
Attorney Tom Girardi, who was convicted of 4 counts of wire fraud and for running a massive 10-year Ponzi scheme. Let's listen in.
Girardi portrayed himself as a champion for the little guy. He marketed himself as a lawyer for Aaron Brockovich. He cultivated an image of a lawyer who fought against corporate greed and even claimed to be himself a champion of justice. He even had a radio show by that name. But Mr. Girardi was no champion of justice. In fact, he was a perpetrator of injustice, victimizing his own clients when they were most vulnerable and most in need. To understand the full depravity and the shame of what Mr. Girardi did, it's important to understand the context. First, the greed. Mr. Girardi was a lawyer who had it all. He was considered one of the best lawyers in America. He had one of the biggest and most successful firms in America. He had great influence with other lawyers and with judges. He even portrayed himself repeatedly as one of the top lawyers in America in magazines and other publications. And he was paid very well for all that he did. But that wasn't enough for him. He wanted even more. His insatiable appetite for money is what led him to court and what led to this verdict today. Secondly, it's important to understand the breach of trust involved in what Mr. Girardi did. As lawyers, we all have duties to our clients, duties of trust to our clients. Mr. Girardi had that duty of trust, but especially with the clients that he had, people who were most vulnerable, people who had gone through traumatic incidents, people who were desperately in need of his help, people who were not lawyers and relied on his expertise. Yet Mr. Girardi chose to take advantage of those very same clients, those vulnerable people, the ones who'd gone through traumatic incidents in order to enrich himself. This is what I mean by truly repugnant and shameful conduct. We know that today's verdict cannot repair all the damage that has been done by Mr. Girardi, but we hope that the fact that he has been brought to justice, that a verdict has been found, and he's been found guilty of 4 counts of wire fraud, will bring some comfort to the many victims of his reprehensible conduct. I will now bring to the podium, or the virtual podium, Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigation, Tyler Hatcher.
Thank you, Martine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As stated, I'm Tyler Hatcher. I'm the Special Agent in charge of IRS Criminal Investigation. I want to thank U.S. Attorney Martin Estrada and his team and our team during the lengthy process of this trial. Today's guilty verdict is another example of work in safeguarding victims of fraud. Approximately 2 years ago, Martin Estrada challenged us in IRS Criminal Investigation and our other federal partners to take an aggressive stance and to hold those who betray the public's trust accountable for those actions. And I think today's guilty verdict highlights our efforts in holding professionals in positions of trust accountable. The evidence displayed during trial showed that Mr. Girardi exploited his clients in their various times of need. Many of his clients suffered life-altering injuries and other catastrophes. And instead of ensuring timely payment on their lawsuits, Mr. Girardi used those awards to fund his lavish lifestyle and to pay other settlements. Unfortunately for him, IRS Criminal Investigation special agents are the best in the world at following the money, especially when fraud leaves that trail. I want to also reflect on the guilty verdict as our outstanding investigative work by IRS Criminal Investigation, the U.S. Attorney's Office, and our partners at FBI. It should serve as an example for those who might try to follow Mr. Girardi's footsteps, that we will hold you accountable. Protecting vulnerable citizens is some of the most rewarding work that we do at IRS Criminal Investigation. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Ted Dox, Special Agent in charge of FBI Los Angeles Criminal Division. With this verdict, Thomas Girardi is finally being held accountable for his egregious actions. For years, Mr. Girardi has built callously his clients to gain for only his self-interest and for greed. This is a case in which the FBI will always exude every resource to get individuals like this, because this is something that we take very seriously and we know impacts the community. Mr. Girardi also, he took his position as a lawyer, and he betrayed the trust of so many folks within the community here today. I will tell you that the FBI is grateful for the partnerships we have with IRS, Criminal Investigative Division, as well as the U.S. Attorney's Office to hold these individuals accountable. They were significant in their assistance in helping to bring this particular case to a successful outcome. Thank you.
So I'll now take questions. Before I do that, I want to give thanks where it's deserved. The IRS and the FBI did a phenomenal and comprehensive investigation in this case. They were very thorough, left no stone unturned. I also want to particularly recognize the Assistant United States Attorneys in my office responsible for this. I would say Scott Patey and Ali Mogadas. I also want to note some of the investigators in this case, particularly IRS agents Ryan Roberson, Ryan Iwamoto, Ryan Bennett, and FBI Special Agent Elias Guerrero. Now take questions.
I have 2 questions. Well, one is for you. So he's 85 years old and he's in an assisted living center, a memory care center in Orange County. What's going to happen with him at sentencing? Do you send an 85-year-old man to prison, or could he be put on house arrest, or how does this work?
So sentencing is set for December of this year. I believe it's December 6th, if I'm not mistaken. Just to make sure I get you an accurate date. Yes, December 6th is the sentencing in this case. We are not going to prejudge that. We will look at all the facts as they come in. There'll be a comprehensive report that is prepared by the probation department. We'll look at all the facts in terms of recommending our sentence. But the mere fact that he is older, an older adult, does not mean we will not seek prison time. It's important in a case like this, not only to punish the wrongdoer, but to send a message to others out there who would think of doing the same thing, that there will be serious consequences for this type of misconduct.
What's the range of sentencing options?
So the statutory maximum sentence he faces for 4 counts of wire fraud is 80 years in federal prison. There's something called the sentencing guidelines. We will look at that to determine what the appropriate sentence is. Again, we have to look at all the facts and circumstances. And by the way, another important part of sentencing is hearing from the victims. The victims will have a right to address the court, either personally or in writing. And that will certainly affect the ultimate sentence that he receives.
You mentioned that he's living a lavish lifestyle. Can you elaborate on that? How was he able to go undetected for so many years?
I think you heard a lot about that in court, how he was a very successful lawyer and made millions and millions of dollars, but he essentially operated a vast and comprehensive Ponzi scheme. And so he'd pay out some and take others and steal money over time, as we heard in court. And of course, he had a very lavish lifestyle. You just have to watch a little bit of television to see how lavishly he was living. You had a question, yes?
Yeah, so what's the exact number? I know initially it was reported that he embezzled more than 15 million. The release says tens of millions. Is there a number that we could include?
So we will leave it at tens of millions of dollars. We now need to do further looking at the facts. The probation department will look because we had, in this case, certainly 4 victims whose stories were heard. We expect other victims to come forward and hear more about some of the issues they dealt with, which will likely increase the loss at issue in this case.
The fact that Girardi put in, $80 to $100 million of his own money back into the firm, how does that fit in with your narrative?
I won't confirm any amounts, so I don't know how much money he actually
Tens of millions.
put into. No, I won't confirm any amount. I won't confirm any amount that he actually put in, but in a Ponzi scheme, as you heard at trial, it's very typical for someone to keep the Ponzi scheme running by putting in some funds of their own. That doesn't mean he did not steal money. That doesn't mean he's not guilty of a fraud offense. And it doesn't mean that he left many, many victims irreparably damaged by his actions.
How did you break this? You're gonna have prosecutors actually ask the judge to consider uncharged victims at sentencing? Victims who were not part of the trial, you're gonna want her to consider those situations for sentencing?
So in every case, there is the potential to look more comprehensively at the conduct of the defendant, things that were not necessarily brought out of trial. It's known as relevant conduct in the federal system. And we want to do a comprehensive look at everything Mr. Girardi is responsible for. Yes.
I had a question for the FBI or IRS special agents. How did you guys break this case? Like, what was the first thing where you're like, something's not right here?
No, that's a great question. In IRS criminal investigation, we get involved when there's a lot of money. And as you can imagine, victims need to be heard. And that's one thing that we pay very, very close attention to. As I said in my comments, we've taken an aggressive approach to essentially trying to make victims whole. So in this case, victims are very loud when they start losing money.
So they came to you guys and said something's not right.
Essentially.
I would say from the FBI perspective.
So a federal jury has just found a very high profile, well-known, disgraced now former attorney Tom Girardi, guilty of wire fraud for embezzling more than $15 million from his clients. Okay, that sounds like, okay, who is this guy? All right, he's a high profile attorney. You got to see some of the headlines that are coming across right now as I'm going through the wires. Former Real Housewives husband, Tom Girardi, found guilty of wire fraud in embezzlement case. He's being tied to his estranged wife who, there's all kinds of connections to big money.
So I needed y'all to hear he's facing up to 80 years. I initially thought it was just 20. It's a lot going on. It's very convoluted. The sentence is going to be based on a lot of things they have to decide upon. But some things they have to decide upon is the fact that they're going to take into consideration the victim impact statements when it comes time for sentencing. His sentencing is in December. This is not looking good because this looks like they really want him locked up. Some other things I want to add before we go around. His lawyer tried to blame it on the accountant, but y'all ready for this? They're saying the accountant stole about $54 million from the company. I mean, this thing is just, how did they allow this to go on for 10 years? It's just super, super sad. I am going to bring up some of the article, okay? Because we need it. It's important to the story, right? So Erika Jayne's estranged husband, Tom Girardi, found guilty of embezzling more than $15 million from his law firm clients, okay? And so he must have had a fan in the audience at the press conference. The reason why I say that is because that particular person was saying, it was hard to hear because they held the press conference outside and it was like noise on the street and all of that. But what the guy was saying is that, I know you're accusing Tom of stealing all this money, but he put money back into the system. He said he put tens of millions of dollars back into the system. And what the guy was saying was, FBI was saying was, he said that's not uncommon in a Ponzi scheme, right? For someone to keep feeding the machine so they can keep taking and taking and taking and taking and taking. Just very sad. So Tom Girardi has been found guilty of embezzling more than $15 million from clients of his now defunct law firm, Girardi and Keefe. After less than a full day of deliberations, a federal jury presented its verdict at a downtown Los Angeles courthouse on Tuesday. The former attorney, his estranged an estranged husband of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Erika Jayne, was found guilty on 4 counts of wire fraud, with each carrying a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. Okay, so since he has 4 counts that he was convicted on, that's why they're saying he can face up to 80 years in prison. Now, Girardi was disbarred in July 2022 and indicted the following February. During the weeks-long trial, federal prosecutors told the jury that the once revered lawyer ran a decade-long Ponzi scheme by misappropriating millions of dollars of his clients' settlements. They said Girardi, 85, would use the money to pay back other clients and fund his luxurious life for himself and Jayne, who is 53. Again, it baffles me how she got away with not even suffering anything in this situation. His federal public defenders, however, insisted the firm's chief financial officer and Girardi's co-defendant, Chris Kamen, was to blame for the missing and misappropriated money. They claimed Girardi, who was diagnosed with the late onset Alzheimer's disease and dementia in March of 2021, was incompetent and used as a pawn. However, Girardi was found fit to stand trial and took the stand last week to empathetically deny any wrongdoing. So his claim is Girardi did take the stand and he said that, the people got paid. So I don't know if it's because it's his condition right now, but I'm like, is he delusional? The last thing I would do would be to take someone money, he's testified. I wouldn't think of it. Girardi insisted he didn't intentionally ever tell anyone the wrong thing and claimed his accountant was very clever in stealing millions of dollars. He also repeated several times during his testimony that he never gave himself a salary. Girardi faces another trial in Chicago next year. I mean, they need to stop it. This man is not going to be able to take another trial. It's a wrap. He's 85. He's 85. But I mean, the victims have a right to see justice. So, I guess he's going to face another trial, which is totally insane. Listen, Katrina, what are your thoughts on this situation? And should he go to jail at 85?
Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Yes. I mean, think about it. They sent Bill Cosby to jail, and he was, I don't think he was 85, but he was close to it, and he was going blind. So, yes, he should go to jail. What about these people? They lost their homes. I mean, maybe they didn't have a way to eat. Maybe they didn't have a way to take care of themselves. Maybe they need to hire nurses or something like that. Maybe they need to go to the burn center. They had all kinds of bills. And instead of you want to furnish your life with your sugar baby who left you by your side, left you quick in a hurry when you got in trouble, when the money dried up. or whatsoever. And then how stupid, that's what I tell you, Diva. That's why you need all three senses. You got these book sense, but you didn't use your common sense or your street sense to not know that these people was going to come for you. And how can you be such a good lawyer and not know that your accountant was stealing money? Where was the other people in the firm to know that this money is missing? You furnished your life. You went on reality TV, which I don't get it. Why these people, when they doing scams, they would go on reality TV. Yes, you did this. These people put their trust in you. It's just like Rudy Giuliani. You brought down the Gotti family, and then you started working for Trump, and now you disbarred. All that learning, all the admiration people had for you is gone. Now you hollering talking about you, and you got to do bankruptcy because your $40,000 a month is not sustaining to what you have, and you're broke, but you paying $40,000 a month in bankruptcy. But now they have overturned that, and the people that was trying to sue him is going to sue him, but he claims he has no money. But like I said with Girardi, yes, lock him up. Bernie Madoff got locked up. He need to get locked up. He was running a Ponzi scheme. So what's good? I mean, what? So he 85. No, you want to see no 85-year-old person in jail. But think about the black people that's already in jail for a little Mary Jane and how old they are, and they're not out. They probably had less quantities than what you had, than what you took for somebody. Yes, lock him up. He need to be locked up. He won't remember if he got dementia. So if he in a cell, he won't know where he at. That's all I got.
Well, that's facts. Now he won't know where he at. Julius, your thoughts?
Katrina spoke truth to power just now. And I echo every single word what she said. And her analysis was spot on. And so I really have nothing to add because she said it all for the both of us.
Yeah, I didn't realize he had another trial pending in Chicago. This is a hot mess, but you know what? They say when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. At 85, you're facing 80 years in a federal prison. How sad is that? Hey, Wayne, welcome into the building. I don't know if you heard this story that we just went through, and if you have any, go ahead.
You know what? They need to hurry up and get his tail in jail before he goes back into a demented state, so he can know what he's there for. So they need to do this expeditiously. You can give him 80 or 20. If he's 85, I doubt if he lived to be 105. They need to sell every piece of his property, everything. He needs to go out the same way, one step above the same way he came in this world. He came in this world naked, and let him go out in a jumpsuit. So what if he gave back? He didn't get back to the people that he stole from, so it didn't do nothing for them. They need to find that money, find out where the money went, all his properties. They say he lived a lavish lifestyle. Any money that he's tried to shift towards family members to get it out of his name, property, whatever. They need to chase that, because it's stolen money. This is not inheritance. This is stolen money from people. And they need to, whoever lived and benefited from his money as well, they need to get that money back and try to give some kind of restitution to these people who lost millions of dollars. It was greed. I wouldn't care if he was 100. If he was 100 and had a stable mind, put him behind bars so he'll know. And not only that, how in the heck your accountant doing better than you? I mean, unless he was taking the money. I mean, he did 50 million. That's a lot of money. And I doubt if he was living a leisurely life. If Girardi was living, big time, I'm sure, that's a big amount. You got the law firm, but your accountant making more money than you, and you don't know about it. I think everybody probably had their hand in the cookie jar. Everybody was getting paid 10 years. Everybody was getting some nice salaries. Some of them may not be getting millions, but I think the folks is getting paid. But they need to investigate it all, get as much of that money back as possible, get it to these people, put him behind bars while he was able to testify the other day whenever. Catch him while, catch him with his pants down. Meaning they catch him while he still got his sentence. So he can know what he's going to jail for. Because if he's in full dementia, and there's several stages of dementia, what good is it going to do to put him behind bars? He ain't going to know that, so that's why I say, get him while he still remembers stuff.
But I'm just saying, it's amazing he didn't get dementia until he got caught and brought up on these charges. And all of a sudden now he got dementia. But then you didn't have no dementia when you buying Erika Jayne $700,000 earrings, which she tried to hide when they supposed to be repossessing their stuff. But it's just amazing. All of a sudden now you got dementia when you get brought up on charges, but you didn't have dementia before. I don't even think he got no dementia. Maybe he do. I hope I'm not lying, but I don't think he even got it. I think he just lying.
Before that sentences come down, you watch. He gonna barely be able to walk into the courtroom.
Yeah,
they're gonna be wheeling him in there. He gonna be trying to get in there like Harvey Weinstein. On the walk, you watch. They gonna play it up. What they got to lose? He's 85 years old.
So let me ask you this before we move on to the next story. Do you think his wife truly knew nothing?
She probably knew, but she didn't care because she's having a $40,000 glam squad following her around. She's supposed to be a dominatrix as her song, whatever that stuff is she's supposed to be doing on stage. If she didn't know, you have to realize, okay, he's a big time lawyer or whatever, but you're not watching the money. You know that these men had cases and whatsoever coming in. There's no way that I don't think he didn't tell her. Maybe he didn't tell her because she really didn't care as long as she was being taken care of. But baby girl, even a lawyer has a limit. And if he's making millions and millions of dollars like that, why are you taking from somebody else? If you making millions and stuff like that, you did it to furnish like your lifestyle for your little sugar baby. And your sugar baby still left your tail high and dry. But I think she do know, but she's going to say she don't know. Remember, he got dementia. He can't remember if he told her or not. So-called dementia. But yeah, I think she knew. Girl,
I
please.
think she could possibly, he didn't tell her. She just, they said he's a big time lawyer. Everybody knew it. So maybe to her, the way she living, okay, it's not going to conceivable that he'd be making this kind of money. So I think she could have been like, why would she have cared? He's a lawyer. He's working. Everybody's raving about how great he is. So why should she be concerned that, is it ill-gotten gains? And she's living a life. Why would you ask? Why would you ask where the money coming from? Is it honest money? So no, I think it's possible she couldn't have known.
Yeah, it's a mess. Well, we'll go ahead and move on to the next story. And our next story is I'm gonna go ahead and roll into which one do I want to do next? Hey 48, thank you so much for the super chat. Diva do 85. He's a check. She don't care. I hear you. I think just almost like that. What is the guy from New York? Why is his name Bernie Madoff? The wife, I think, and the whole family were clueless in the very beginning, but I think towards the end they did know. And I'm feeling like Erika Jayne probably in the beginning was clueless, but I think towards the end she did know. For you to just all of a sudden wake up and want to divorce him, and you're divorcing him right around the time that the walls are falling in on him, I'm a little suspicious. Like, girl, you knew something, but she says she didn't know. She's living free right now, but you still got to live with your conscience because these people did not get their money. Did you want to say something, Wayne?
Yeah, David, didn't one of Bernie Madoff's kids take their life?
One took the life, one died of cancer, and I believe the wife is the only one surviving right now.
But they're pariahs. They couldn't, I think I read an article on that where they was just blackballed. Just people just knew what they did everywhere they went.
the people couldn't stand them is an understatement. Because like with most of these Ponzi schemes, they end up taking money. They don't care who they get the money from. They get it from family, friends, and they got from a lot of neighbors in the building in New York in which they lived. So the neighbors was hot. I mean, the hairstylist, nobody would do the wife's hair. They really literally got blackballed. I would have to Google. I know both the sons died. Both the sons definitely died. One by taking his own life. The other one, want to say cancer, fought a very bad battle with cancer and died. Yeah, the mother, I have to see if the wife is still alive. I'm not sure. I think she might have passed. But I know the wife had to end up going to live with her sister, because I'm talking penniless at the end. Just no money whatsoever. But I will say this before we move on from this story in terms of that. You know, people, I will never understand. There is no one on the face of this earth that is going to get me to invest all of my money that I worked for my whole life. No, I'll stick with what I got. I never heard of anything where literally you can put your money in it and it triples your money just like that. That's just a scam. It's just a scam. But let's go ahead and roll right into, you know what I'll do next? I'll do Keefe D and we'll do Mariah Carey last. So I'll roll into the Keefe D story. Keefe D, every time he goes into court, they deny him from getting out. And at this point, he's probably definitely not going to get out before his trial. I want to say his trial is supposed to happen in November or December, but for some reason I remember November. But we're about to be in September. This weekend coming up is Labor Day weekend. So he's begging to get out. I guess he just wants to be out, you know, just to have his last moments of freedom. But that judge is not playing with him. She will not let him out. No matter how much he comes in that court and cries that somebody is doing him dirty, somebody is doing him wrong, this man, they will not let him out. So let me just go ahead. This is going to be an interesting trial. And I tell you this trial, we're definitely going to follow this case over here. You know, I'm from the Tupac era. Okay, Tupac, even when Diddy was building Bad Boy Records, that is my time frame, right? Because I want to say Diddy's 54, I'm 54. You know, so you know that was right around my time. I was very intertwined into this. And when they was having that whole East Coast, West Coast beef, it was very scary. But never in my mind did I ever think it would come down to not only Tupac losing his life, but Biggie losing his life and all the things that transpired after that. Just incredibly sad. All of that talent. And it's just like, I feel like in the community, and when I say the community, I feel like in the Black community, it's almost like we can never just get it together and get it right, right? All of that talent, opportunity to make all of this money, and we're unaliving each other. So Keefe D's courtroom rant. Like I said, you need closed caption, somebody to interpret. But I'm going to tell you, for the most part, he's trying to tell the judge that in behind bars, they're doing him dirty. He has cancer. You know, he's on a blood thinner, and he's saying one nosebleed, and it can, you know, he could lose his life. He can die. So let's listen to it. Guys, that is this little, I'll wait till I can skip the ad. And they got the nerve to be showing too. I'll just give it a second so I can skip this one also. Okay.
The motion to reconsider is denied. The counter motion is also denied. Yes, sir.
This dude, what's your name, sir?
I'm not going to address this. All right, Mr. Davis.
In June, he was doing law that don't pertain to me. He kept on quoting it. Then the next, in July, he did the same thing. Saying laws that don't pertain to me. That's wrong. And another thing.
Attorney is going to potentially appeal this. So
okay, let me
we'll get some clarity on this.
Okay, August 9th, two deputies from two COs came to my cell, asked for the extra mattress. told them to take it. You know what I'm saying? I think they were sent by them to beat me up. So they brutally beat me up. They attacked me and assaulted me, and it was wrong. I told them I had cancer. I'm on blood thinners. You know what I'm saying? So I asked them what's their name. The sergeant ran them out the door. So I talked to my California lawyer. He said they usually send inmates or young deputies to do this type of stuff, just so I would y'all can have something to say that I attacked them or fought them back or nothing. So I just stood there because I got cancer and I'm on blood thinners. So I just stood there and let them assault me and beat me up. Then I tried to get the press here to come see me, my family. They blocked my visits, everything. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. What?
You've made very serious allegations regarding police brutality and the DA's orchestrating some sort of attack on you. I wasn't aware of any of this.
August 9th,
saying that it's
His
so
name,
they can say that you attacked them. It was never brought to my attention, so there's nothing to connect that allegation. Ultimately, I think you need to be aware of the things that you're saying.
They attacked me and assaulted me. The whole place seen it.
Right.
And they got the bubble little camera there. I asked them for their name. They ran them out the door. And that's wrong. I'm on blood thinners, and that's the first thing on the thing. Say, do not have no altercation. Because you know, a bloody nose, you can die. You know what I'm saying? And that's wrong. I got cancer. I kept on telling them deputies, what are you doing? What's wrong with you guys? What is wrong with you guys? I'm old enough to be a dad, man. You know, have some compassion. What is wrong with y'all? And they took $300 worth of food out of the cell and everything. It's wrong.
All right. We've had hearings regarding things that have happened at the jail. If you have something that you want Mr. Arnold to file, he can file it. And if there's an issue about connecting those two things that you allege, we can absolutely have a hearing on that if Mr. Arnold brings it to my attention.
I appreciate it, and I wish there's something they be disciplined, fired. Something needs to happen.
Give me
They
more information,
wrong.
because at this point you don't have really much connections, okay?
No, I got the nurses. I got the nurses thing. I filed with the nurse. I submitted it and everything.
Submit it to me. Let Mr. Arnold know so he can submit it to me and I can review it, okay?
Okay.
All right, I think we have to get you back pretty quickly. It's because at 10:30 you need to go somewhere. So we are now done with Mr. Davis so that he can be taken back for that appointment.
Thank you.
He said they wrong, okay? They beat him up. They stole his food. So Gangsta's Ferry courtroom footage shows Tupac Shakur's murder suspect Keefe D going a rant, claiming prosecutors ordered prison attack on him. Keefe D snapped at the judge when things didn't go his way. The self-confessed gangster charged with Tupac's murder launched a furious rant inside a Las Vegas court on Tuesday. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who was again denied bail during a court hearing, defiantly refused to stay silent and made a series of allegations about being beat up while jailed in the Clark County Detention Center. That's him right there. He's getting bigger and bigger every minute and second that he stays behind bars, okay? That's Tupac, and he's accused of being part of the unaliving of Tupac. Keefe, who appeared agitated, told Judge Carly that he feared dying after claiming he was assaulted in his cell on August 9th. The one-time Compton crime boss 61 alleged in a courtroom outburst that two correctional officers attacked him, leaving him battered and bruised. Keefe made a startlingly unsubstantiated allegations that prosecutors had sent officers to attack him. He told the courtroom, they brutally beat me up, attacked me, and assaulted me. I told them I had cancer and I'm on blood thinners. The Southside Crip gangster claimed that when he asked for their names, their sergeant ran them out the door. Keefe claimed other prisoners saw the alleged attack and a video camera may have been on during the assault. You made some serious allegations regarding the police brutality and the DA's orchestrating some kind of attack on you, the judge warned Keefe. He said, she said, I was not made aware of this. He said, I'm on blood thinners. As Keefe tried to argue with her, she urged him to have his lawyer, Carl Arnold, file motions and present evidence to the court. However, Keefe snapped, that's wrong. I'm on blood thinners, a bloody nose, and you can die. Keefe alleged that he complained to deputies asking, what is wrong with you guys? Have some compassion. This is wrong. The judge urged Arnold to submit paperwork on behalf of Keefe, but again, the jail gangster fired back. I wish they could be disciplined or fired. That was wrong. Prosecutor Benu Paal told the U.S. Sun after the hearing that he would not dignify Mr. Davis' allegations with a response. Before the hearing got underway, Keefe sat slumped in the courtroom chair, separated from his other defendants. Keefe appeared frustrated over the prosecution's arguments and was overheard taking a huge sigh out of dissatisfaction. In another moment, as he scuffed around in his seat, the former game boss smirked at the media present in the courtroom. Keefe's outburst came moments after the judge ruled he would not be granted bail after a 20-minute hearing at the Las Vegas Judicial Court. Not going to go through all that. The jail gangster has spent 8 months fighting to raise legitimate cash to be released from house arrest. His lawyer argued that Keefe was legally able to make money off of his name because he has yet to be convicted. Some of this other stuff we had already went through. He's been going back and forth to court, okay, just because he wants to make bail. Every time he sets foot in that courtroom, the judge is like, negative, you're not getting out. Julius, what are your thoughts? And wait, before I get to you, Julius, let me say this also. The judge keeps telling him, you are not supposed to just be addressing me. You got to talk to your lawyer, and your lawyer is supposed to talk to me. He is all kinds of out of order, but I give it to this judge. She's remaining calm, and she's trying to deal with his shenanigans. Julius, you're up.
She better than me, because the South Bostonian or the country bumpkin would have came out by now. I would have been like, look at here, you build-up wannabe gangster heathen being bum. Look at here. I would have went all kinds of off. But, happens to be, remember, being covered in the cloak, you have to be, sophisticated and things. I just would have went off and called him a big dummy in the process, because he is a big, 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 big dummy. And he shouldn't have been talking in the first place, but since he's a big dummy, he thought he wanted to be big man. Well, guess what, big man? You fluffed around long enough, you're finding out the consequences. Yay!
Thank you, Julius. Y'all, don't forget, hit that like button. Katrina, you're up. Katrina, are you there? Okay, I'm gonna move on.
I'm here.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll boo-boo cry. Well, I'm on blood thinners, and they monitor your blood and making sure that you're not bleeding out, making sure that it's not that thin. So if anybody punch you, you're not going to bleed out if your blood is not that thin. So tell that to somebody else. You put yourself in that situation. You said you off my husband. Well, it's supposed to be my husband. Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all that. I'm just playing. But now, you said you offed him. So now you're saying you didn't. Now you're saying you lied about it to make money off of it. So you reap what you sow. You said you did it, and they've been trying to crack this case forever. You honestly think it is just going to let it go? No. You should have kept your mouth closed. And now you stuck in there because who's going to be your friend? Who's going to help you out? Because Puffy is not helping you out because it'll look bad on him. Anybody that donate money to you or trying to get you out, they're going to investigate them. So you stuck in there. You ran your mouth, and now you got to pay the consequences. And that's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. Wayne, you're up.
Yeah, I know people go to jail, they serving their time, and that's their punishment is the time. And they should get pretty much 3 hots a cot, the basic stuff. But what sickens me is that these people, now, I know he said he did it, and then now he's saying he didn't do it, whatever, but you in there for that. First of all, he in there with a lot of Tupac sympathizers, I'm sure. A lot of people that love Tupac coming up. You know, I mean, because it's even people now who wasn't even around when Tupac was, they know Tupac. Mm-hmm. So, of course, you're going to get that flack in prison. Nobody don't like you. But, again, the part that sickens me is that you got the nerve to say, why don't y'all have some compassion? You got the nerve to talk about how they treat you. You talking about how you could die.
Come on now, Wayne. I think I see where you're going. Come on.
And you bragged about it, and if you didn't do it, to me, it's just as bad as if you did do it. But nobody else was accused, and you said you did it, and you're where you're supposed to be. But don't expect people to have sympathy for you because you're sick. You're in a place where they have, like somebody said in the chat, more afforded to them than homeless people on the street who haven't had a jaywalking ticket and can't get health care. He just wants to get out like everybody else does. But the audacity to tell them to have some compassion, unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I appreciate you, Wayne. You know what? You was riding down the road, which I understood and got. You mad? You want to be out? You talking about you could die, but yet you was on these YouTube streets doing interviews with anyone that would have you, thinking it was funny and joking about how Tupac Shakur was no longer here, and you had a part in his demise. And like you said, Wayne, and now you want us to feel bad for you? We're going to need you to go sit down somewhere, sir. And so most people said, let me end this poll here. Let's see what we got going on here. I said, do you think the court should have mercy on Keefe D? 62% of the people said no. Okay, so not showing him any mercy. So let's roll into this last story. Remember, I started out with forgive and forget. So Mariah Carey, tragic. Mother passed away over the weekend. So did her estranged sister, Allison. As I was reading more into the story, I found out that Allison in 1990 was diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. Later years now, she had complications. She was on hospice. So she knew her time was coming to an end. And she requested that somebody reach out to Mariah and that Mariah just come see her. And Mariah did not, go to see her. So let me go ahead and share screen. Let's get a little bit into this story. So that's Mariah. That's her sister. So the dying wish, Mariah Carey told her sister was dying last month, but never reached out. A call would have meant so much, the pal says. And that is Allison's friend. Mariah Carey's sister name is Allison Carey. Spent her last days feeling rejected and wondering if Mariah or any of her other relatives would attend her funeral. And that's a sad way to go. Mariah Carey never tried to contact her older sister in her final days, even after she was told a month ago that she was dying, according to a close pal. Within the same day, the Grammy winner lost both her sister Allison and her mother Patricia Carey. That's the sister. Sister again. While Mariah 55 says she was heartbroken by the news, Allison's longtime friend and caregiver, David Baker, has alleged she never made any effort to reach out to her sister, even in her dying days. He said Allison spoke often in her last days about being abandoned by Mariah, even asking whether she would attend her funeral. David told the U.S. Sun exclusively, Allison was unhappy that her baby sister had cut off contact with her. She talked about it frequently. She wondered if Mariah or any of her relatives would come to her funeral. Oh, that's so sad. I'm told that the memorial service is planned for a future date, but nothing now. David continued, no, Mariah has never tried to contact Allison, even after she was told a month ago that Allison was dying. A phone call, or better still, a video call would have meant so much to Allison, but it never came. And now Mariah is heartbroken by the loss of her mother and her ex sister. The callous rejection added more hurt to Allison's pain. David was one of Allison's only friends for the past 9 years and tried to support her as she dealt with drug addiction, homelessness, and health issues, including being HIV positive. He revealed she has been receiving home hospice care for the past 3 weeks after developing problems with her internal organs. In a touching tribute said to the U.S. Sun, Allison Powell said, beneath a tough exterior, Allison was a highly intellect, warm and sensitive person. I've known her for 9 years, and as her friend, and in recent months, her caregiver, I will miss her greatly. Allison had previously spoken to the Sun about her traumatic childhood, in which she claims she was taken to terrifying satanic ceremonies by a close family member, and that she was SA. Okay. Now, Mariah Carey, back on August 20, Mariah Carey yesterday said, she wrote a statement that she was heartbroken that her family members passed. So on August 26th, Mariah Carey revealed to people that her mother, Patricia, and sister Allison died on the same day. My heart is broken that I lost my mother this past weekend. She started. Sadly, in a tragic turn of events, my sister lost her life on the same day. I feel blessed that I was able to spend the last week with my mom before she passed. I appreciate everyone's love and support and respect for my privacy during this impossible time, she concluded. It sounds hard to believe, and I have so many memories I wish I never had, she said during an interview in 2018. A close family member used to wake me up just before 2 a.m. and take me to an old hall that looked like a castle, which was a short walk from a church we used to attend in Huntington, New York. Hold on one second. The place is still there. I'm sure you exactly where it is. Then terrible things would happen, things that a child should never see. I was SA there. They told me that if I didn't do what they told me, or if I told them what was going on, they would harm Mariah. At the time, their brother Morgan, 64, confirmed he had been taken to an occult group as a child, but declined to comment further. Allison had a lot of struggles. Allison, who was struggling to survive on food stamps, has said she didn't want any money from her famous sister, just a chance of having a relationship again. I wouldn't be begging for money or clothes or food, Allison said. It just hasn't been my experience that she would help me with those things. And that's not what I would want to bring up with her. What I want to tell her is, Mariah, I know that you're going through a tremendous amount of pain and difficulty. I know sometimes you feel as though what you're remembering didn't really happen, I just want you to know that if there was ever any way that you needed help from me, just pick up the phone and call me, and I will always be there for you. A phone call, or better still, a video would have meant so much to Allison, but it never came. So we know that Mariah, now let me say this, Mariah was sued by her sister and her brother over her memoir that she wrote. I'll just run through this really quickly, and then we'll chat about the story. So legal battles. In response to Mariah's claim, both of her siblings, this is from the book that she wrote, okay? So let me back up because I didn't tell you what the claim was in the book. Hold on. So Mariah confirms she lost her mom to Antoinette. The hitmaker has spoken about her difficult relationships with Allison and her brother Morgan in her 2020 memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. In the book, she wrote that it was emotionally and physically safer for me not to have any contact with Morgan and Allison. In her book, Mariah claimed that her siblings would sell lies to the press. She also alleged that in her memoir that Allison drugged her with Valium and tried to sell her to a pimp, and that Morgan was violent towards her, claims which they both denied. So both of them sued her. The sister lawsuit was there's unknown what's going on with that. The lawsuit where her brother sued Mariah, that case is still active in the New York Supreme Court documents. So I'll kind of stop it there and we'll go ahead and talk about this story. Hey, Leo. And everybody let me know your thoughts. So Julius, a lot going on here. You got a sibling that died, a mother that died on the same day. You had your sibling that tried to do horrible things to you when you was a child. But in addition to that, because you wrote about it in your book, your sister sued you. But then the end comes and your sister is dying and she just wants to hear from you. What are your thoughts?
I wouldn't care if it was any of my siblings. I wouldn't care if they wanted to hear from me. I wouldn't care. And y'all gonna get mad at me for this viewpoint. Nowhere near in Allison's description did she acknowledge or say, I take responsibility for the pain I inflicted on you. Nowhere did the brother acknowledge, I'm sorry. What did they do when she came out with her book? Went to the court. Her sister gives me Samantha Markle vibes. And who was Samantha Markle's famous sister? Meghan Markle. She gives me her vibes. Bitter and out for money, like you need to take care of me. No, I don't. I done some research into this, and Mariah has paid for her rehab multiple times and everything else. And she still chose to be on the route to addiction. I don't know if this is true, but it looks like it is because I've seen it in multiple articles. Allison's own kids don't even talk to her.
Oh my gosh.
So if your own kids don't even talk to you, why would your sister reach out to you? Still, in the end, you have your friend doing your dirty work and saying, I just want to hear from my sister. Did you bother to pick up the phone at the same time and call your sister and be like, I am sorry? What was Iyanla Vanzant's famous word in Fix My Life? I am sorry. Please forgive me. I am sorry. By all accounts, Allison didn't do that, and neither did her brother. And Mariah barely before that has opened up about her life. But she did in that book because she felt safe to open up. Now, in recent years, probably her mother has done the work to have somewhat of a relationship with her and to be in her grandkids' life and to just show her that motherly love that she didn't get before. But her mother was a problem too. You know, because Mariah, I remember early videos of her when she performed with Aretha Franklin and on R&B divas and all that. She wasn't confident in her career at the time. Yes, she had this beautiful, amazing, captivating voice. But when she sung that raw, raspy song, that her part of that song that she sung, and Aretha looked at her and smiled and nodded her head like, you got it, baby. That's when she started to grow her confidence. And it's heartbreaking. And my condolences do go out to her. I don't blame Mariah for not having any contact with them. Because to me, I feel like, and this is not the first time I heard this, they have not once acknowledged her pain. And she always ran to the tabloids to be like, well, I have to do this in order to get a hold of my sister. We just said this about Simone Biles' Biomom. A phone works two ways. Why do you want her to reach out to you when you can easily reach out to her? Why do you have to have in betweens? That's my viewpoint on it.
I appreciate you. Wayne, you're up.
You know, my thing is I'm not gonna pass judgment either way, because you never know what happened in Mariah's life that could have been so horrific or whatever. You not you didn't forgive. It was just so horrific, and you push that person out your life. Her mother, I don't know if her mother passed suddenly. If she was, I'm sure she was up in age, and could be ailing, So her sister was not a priority. Her mother was her priority. You think she's going to take precious time she's spending with her mother to go see somebody just because they're on the way out? Some people would say it's heartless. I'm not, because you don't know what could have transpired that was just either unforgivable or for whatever reason, because that's strong. I mean, she had money. Somebody in the chat was saying, they would have bought their, sister the basics, a house and stuff, but just kept the distance. So just because she got money, I mean, I don't feel any kind of way that she should have did any of that, because you just don't know how she was damaged mentally coming up and just didn't have it in her capacity to have that kind of empathy, sympathy, or whatever. So I don't pass judgment either way.
Yeah, I'm taking it. I'm feeling like the mother exposed the two older ones, Allison and Morgan, to a lot. I got to look into the mother's background, but I'm feeling like they was exposed to a lot, and what they was exposed to damaged them. And I'm not, again, not making excuses or saying anything. I'm getting that feeling. I'm getting that vibe, because who introduced them to these people? How did they end up just being the way that they were?
Something real bad happened.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Something real bad happened.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just very sad. And for the sister, again, just going by the allegations that Mariah wrote, I can't picture Mariah writing this and it's false. That's a horrific story to tell, that your sister got you high on volume, tried to sell you to a pimp. I just don't, Mariah would have no need, out of all the money that she has, to make up a story like that. And then, the sister, I'm taking it, the sister was out there, because she ended up with HIV. I don't know, probably back then, maybe when she was doing drugs, maybe she reused the needle. I don't know, but I'm feeling something that mother exposed those two older children to, Morgan and Allison. A lot went on. Leo, your thoughts?
Hey, everybody. How everybody doing?
Hey, Leo. Long time no hear.
Hey,
Oh,
Leah.
Hey, Jules. Hey, Katrina. Hey, Wayne. Hey, Diva.
That time you
So
come back to
reality. Just checking in. But listen, so, this is a story of an extremely toxic family.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty much on the side of Wayne. I'm not passing judgment on either way or either side. Everybody has to deal with their traumas the way they can cope with dealing with their traumas. I've had difficult relationship, at least with my older sibling. He's a half sibling. Me and him have gone through the ringer, up the hill, down the hill, in the gutter, in the trash, everything. And I didn't speak with him for years, and he might have had passed in those years, and I might have not had made no contact. So I'm not the one to judge, even though God blessed us to be able to reconnect.
Amen.
But I don't have any judgment, but I do think that in that toxicity of their whole family relationship is based on their mother, because their mother Mariah Carey's mother was a trained opera singer. And so she is the one that really trained Mariah to hit that whistle note, that real high note. And it was some type of bitter jealousy with the mother, because for a little while she ain't really fooled with her mother either, because her mother tried to hold claim to her fame and her fortune and basically said she was the fifth member, like the Escape Women. She was the fifth member. If it had not been for me, you would not, be at the heights in which you are at, even though I think they lived in Hell's Kitchen or something like that. But anyway, they had a tumultuous childhood. All three of those children been through something. It's something that happened in Mariah's childhood that ended making that happened that ensured that she did not go down the same path as the other kids did, that the mother introduced them to. Like, she was out there in them streets too. The mother was out there in them streets, because I think her relationship with her children, her older children, broke down when the father left. So they were all for the street. And I think she cleaned herself up because Mariah is quite a few years, like 6 or 7 years, younger than the boy. I believe Allison was the oldest and the boy was the second, and then she's 6 or 7 years younger than the boy. And so the mother had cleaned up, but one thing about recovering addicts, they still have emotional damage, and they're very hard to deal with. So Mariah was damaged too, but at the point of when she knew that she didn't have to deal with those people, she just didn't deal with them. And you can't tell people how to spend their money. She earned her money. She did what she could for them, and they still sued her. I think deep down in her soul, she felt like her obligation was to her mother, even though her mother had not treated her the best either, but she did with what she could live with. And what she could live with was, my mother's in her last days. I'm going to use that emotional energy that I do have with my mother. Alice and them got to get it how they live it. To me, Allison should have been trying to beg her children to be at her deathbed, not Mariah. Who your children?
Say it again,
Leo. So that's already showing her compass is really messed up. Being upset that Mariah didn't call her or didn't see her or didn't video call her, that's the relationship y'all been had. The relationship that needs to be healed for the future of your children and your grandchildren that you may have and don't see, or your future grandchildren. Your purpose should have been healing the bond with your seed. That should have been your purpose on your last days, in my opinion.
I like that. Good point. All right, Katrina, you are?
Diva, do I have an echo?
You don't.
Okay. I'm with everybody. I see everybody's opinion. But like you said, Wayne, Jules, and Leo, that is a toxic family. All of them got some mental issues. Because the sister was on drugs. The brother, he got some type of issues because he was in a cult. I wondered, was their mama is into Scientology or the Mormons or something like that. Don't come after me. I'm just asking this question. And then another thing, because you remember Mariah had went into a nut home because she thought Marilyn Monroe piano was a ghost that was in her house when she made that movie. What was it? Glitter, whatever the name of that movie was. After that movie, she went into a nut house. So all of them, then they want to say that she was an alcoholic. But all of them got some mental issues. And like you said, if I did have a sister, but she died when I was young. But either way, my sister, she looked out for her sister and brother. And they stabbed her in the back. She was helping her sisters and brother countless times. And they stabbed her in her back. They was jealous of Mariah because Mariah's mom was spending more time with her, getting her talent off the ground. So they was jealous of Mariah from the get-go anyway. And I'm like Leo saying, I would be trying to spend time with my children other than my sister. Yes, I would want my sister to be there, but how would how can I even ask my sister to be there after the things I've did to her and said about her? But you want me to come to your deathbed, so what? So you can say, yes, I had that done to you and I'm sorry? No, you should have said that before your time came. And the mom, yes, I'm going to spend my time with my mom because she did help me get to where I am. Well, with the voice wise, you know what I'm saying? So yes, my mom is the reason why I am living the life that I'm living because she trained me. And Mariah didn't have it easy when she first got into the music game when she was married to that man. So she tried to help them. She tried to help them countless times. And like I said, they stabbed her in the back. I can only give you so many chances. And Mariah must have felt at peace when she didn't see her sister because maybe she just laid that burden down and said, I can't deal with this no more.
Right.
But let me try to make this with my mom to let my mom know, yes, I'm here. I appreciate what you done for me. I don't know if her mama ever tried to bring her down or anything like that, but you know how it goes with moms. You're going to try to be there. But the siblings, they weren't out there on them stages. They weren't going through in these tours. They wasn't on stage singing with their voices or anything like that. This woman worked for her money. She earned her money. She got a voice out of this world. And you can't be mad with me because I didn't say anything back to you after knowing you was trying to backstab me. You know, maybe I would have laid my burden down and said something to my sister. But if my sister keep trying to hurt me, even on your deathbed, you still trying to hurt me because you suing me. You could have dismissed that lawsuit to show that, okay, I want to get my sister back. But no, you wanted that money. You wanted that money. So I'm with everybody on the panel, not judging either or. But like I said, that whole family got some mental issues. And hopefully Mariah will find some peace. I hope she got peace. And I hope she just keep doing what she doing. It's not, like I said, it's not like she didn't try to help them. She did try to help them. And that's not their money. That's her money. So she spent it the way she want to spend it. He
Who
out there
won the
doing all
lawsuit?
the tours. I don't know.
Neither
Neither
one.
one.
Neither one
It's
of
still,
them.
I'm saying it's still going on.
This is still pending, and they didn't say what happened with the sister's lawsuit.
Well, if she gone, that lawsuit gone unless they gonna give that money to those children. If she did get awarded for something, it'll go to her kids. But then why would I give that to her kids when that's ill-gotten money? I wouldn't even want it. I wouldn't even want it from my auntie. I don't know if she's in contact with the nieces or whatever they are. I don't know if Mariah's in contact with them, but that's a sad situation. All around the globe part of it is a sad situation. That's a sad situation. But like I said, she earned her money. She was out there doing those tours. She was out there doing them concerts. She was on the road. She was doing this. She did this, not them. And she's not obligated to give anybody one red cent, but she did it anyway. So, like I said, I just hope she got peace. I hope she, let everything go because you can only hold on to toxicity for so long, then you'll start getting sick yourself. So she needs to just let it go and let it be. Go to a funeral if she wants to. She can say what she want to say there. She can, if the sister can hear, she can hear. Like they say, dead people do hear what you're saying. So maybe she can make her peace that way. That's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. Brandon said all
of
Allison Ford show. I'm having an echo. Right?
I'm having an echo. Right?
Wait, let me mute.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's coming when Leo's unmuted. All of Allison's 4 children were removed and Mariah provided for them. They still talk to Mariah, not Allison. Allison went through a lot. Leo, did you want to say something?
I'm gonna try. I hope that I don't cause an echo. But I'm gonna say this though, because I am a punk. I still would have talked to my sister. I think if I knew she was on the deathbed, I still would have reached out. Me personally, but like I say, I still don't pass no judgment on them because I don't know the intricacies of how deep the toxicity went. I'm only speaking on my outside level. She on a deathbed. God knows I could say something to it. I would. But and having the foresight of somebody saying to me that she's on her deathbed, I would still reach out to my sister. Even if I can't stand her and can't stand to breathe the same air, I still would have reached out. Me. Just
Yeah,
me.
me too. Me too. I think I would have too. Just knowing how I built and how I'm at. But again, like everybody's saying, no judgment. I'm going to roll right into the feel good story, guys. It's actually a very, very nice one. So hold on. Let me just figure out where I got it. So let's go.
Years ago, CBS News visited a brand new bakery in the nation's capital called Dog Tag. A local priest had spent years building the nonprofit, which employs disabled veterans, military spouses, and caregivers. The program helps the vets adjust to civilian life after military service. Father Rick Curry knew what it was like to live with a disability, having been born with just one arm. Sadly, he died just after his dream became a reality. Almost a decade later, we got to see his legacy in action and learn what it means to serve, from down on the farm to creating a new business.
And that's where they store honey and pollen.
At Fields for Valor Farms in Brandywine, Maryland. Hi, ladies. Commitment is key. How hard is it to catch a chicken?
Well, it depends. You do have to commit to it. There you go. Nice.
That wasn't so hard, was it? Peter Scott founded this farm to grow produce for hungry veterans. But the idyllic setting is far from the battlefields he was trained for.
You're right, Pete. I joined the Army in 1999. I was stationed to Germany. Went to Afghanistan, where I was attached to Special Forces teams as a counterintelligence agent.
Here is Afghanistan. This is where I live.
When he came back, Scott found it difficult to leave the front lines behind.
It caught up with me. It wasn't until after we had our child that I started having some flashbacks. I was having flashbacks related to small children crying. Combination of just really late at night, taking care of a baby and just disappearing into a place.
It's happening while you're wide awake.
Yeah.
How did you learn to cope with it?
Well, I went to an inpatient program for PTSD, took some time off. I started beekeeping, I started gardening, anything that would just sort of keep me in the present moment.
A friend told Scott about an entrepreneurship program for veterans at a bakery in Washington, D.C. It was a chance to turn his passion for farming into something more.
Fields for Valor Farms was born out of the program. I asked at the counter, I was like, hey, I'm a veteran. Somebody told me about the program. Could I talk to anybody? And Megan Ogilvie came down.
These are sugar cookies.
It's at that same counter where we met Megan Ogilvie, Dog Tag's CEO.
Oh, you got involved there. You got real involved.
Ogilvie was drawn to Dog Tag's mission, having been raised in a military family. Today, she runs the 5-month-long program that's taught vets like Scott how to translate battle skills into business and life skills.
It's black and white in the military. They tell you where to live. They tell you when to move. They tell you what to wear, how to wear it. And that's why it's so efficient, right? And then you move out, and now you're wearing a blazer, and you're at a job fair. And that identity is gone.
I had lost my sense of community.
Nana Obioha was one of hundreds to go through the program's business and storytelling classes and mindfulness trainings as well.
Every veteran that I met in my cohort had different stories, different backgrounds, different jobs, but we were the same through service, right? Having that shoulder to lean on was super beneficial in picking up my pieces.
Some of these
But not everyone is a veteran. Jimena Rozo says as an Army spouse, she was able to take business classes through Dog Tag's partnership with Georgetown University.
All those classes really make they were the foundation to start making all these loose ideas into a business plan. All the dots connected here.
Then there's former Army helicopter pilot Ann Barley. She came to Dog Tag after a divorce, health issues, and ultimately a suicide attempt. She says the program helped her accept her physical limits while embracing what still made her, her.
Megan with her cheery, like, come on, have a seat down here in this booth. Come and sit down with us. I can't remember the words she used, and it doesn't even matter because she is who she is, and this program is what it is. She said, you can't do this, but here's what we see. You're a brilliant writer. You give wonderful advice. She told me the truth, but she didn't make me feel alone in a truth that was hard to accept.
Oh man, that was I hope this is not I feel totally insufficient. The fact that I just get to be part of this is it's a gift. And not everyone gets the opportunity to really find their calling. Every day I show up, I get to feel that. And how fortunate am I?
She and dozens of other volunteers. You think about this, 200,000 service people make that leap back into civilian society every year. And what we started to see was this trend happening, that thousands of them were going in receiving unemployment benefits because they couldn't find a job. And this is just one element or one program that is making a difference. 30 people a year, but they are spreading their tentacles and they're impacting others, bringing them along to help out.
Almost got me at the end, Michelle.
Yeah, 30 lives changed a year. It's powerful stuff.
Really powerful.
Really nice piece.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
I thought it was a great story. I like the name of the bakery, dog tags, because usually like in the service, they have their dog tags or whatever, so that in case anything happened, they can be identified. Just when people are willing to dedicate their life, and listen, whatever you do in life, it has to be your calling. If you're really going to be impactful and authentic in that thing. But just for this woman, you can tell that she's doing something she truly loves, and she's helping impact and changing lives, because there are a lot of people that they come back from being in the service, and a lot of it, all of it doesn't have to be like they was in some type of war or anything like that. These people come back and they need the support of the community, and a lot of times they're not getting the support that they need. I just love it. I think it's an amazing program, and they're saving lives like one person at a time. Just a great story. I thought it was. So I hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me see, Irene. My hubby felt lost when he retired. Metal, yellow, first red. I thank you so much, Irene, for sharing. People need an outlet. They need some place to go. But I want to thank you guys for spending Tuesday with me. Thank you for sharing this changing topics time with me. Y'all know I appreciate y'all. And don't forget, if you didn't hit the like button coming in, hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Thanks for everything.
Do not cheat the default. Write down Choo Choo and Vivi. Thank you.
Thanks.